Good morning, friends, fans, and followers on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever else you may find me. People have been asking why I have elected to put my vote and my time and effort into voting for Bernie Sanders. When I look at the political climate, when I look at where we're at as a society, I see that there is so much more that we need to do, and we've spent so much time compromising with people who are regressive, with people who are hateful, with people who are xenophobic, with people who like to stoke people's fears. They really want to play on your fears and divide you. And I don't see us as a divided nation. I've grown up in a relatively normal home life. I work a hard job. I am a single dad taking care of a daughter on my own. I'm dealing with college debt. Bernie talks to those things. He speaks to that. He speaks to that resolutely, without question. He speaks to wanting to have massive criminal justice reform, demilitarizing our police. He speaks to tuition-free college, paid for through taxes by the people that destroyed our economy. If you ask me, I think that's a pretty fair trade-off. See, we've got a problem, and that's that America is falling behind as far as competition goes with the rest of the globe. We are not number one in education. We are not number one in manufacturing. The only thing we are number one in is our prison population. When we house 5% of the entire globe's population and 25% of the entire globe's prison population, it says to me that there is a distinct and disgusting problem with how we adjudicate criminal cases. In addition to that, I've seen friends, parents, and families die because they couldn't get the medical attention they need. Why? Because the insurance companies said they capped out. You tell that to somebody dying of cancer. Tell that to somebody dying of cancer or AIDS or any of the other terminal illnesses out there, lupus, RA, all these things, ultimately can do someone in. And we had insurance companies before the ACA telling people, sorry, you've capped out. We're not going to help you anymore, even though you've paid into insurance your entire life. Something wrong about that to me. There's something wrong to me about penalizing people for not having insurance. I think it's inherently wrong. Because I don't think that you should have to have insurance to get the medical treatment that you need. I truly believe that healthcare is a right to people. How dare anyone have the audacity to say that medical care is a privilege, not a right? How dare anyone say or have the audacity to say a good education for our children is a privilege, not a right? In order to maintain our competitive edge in the global market and regain our superiority in the world, there is only one way to do that. We need better health for our citizens. We need better education for our citizens. And we need less people being locked up in prisons. I've seen people come out vehemently against Sanders. Seen a lot from the Clinton campaign lately. A lot. a lot of Clinton trolls out there, really getting down on Sanders supporters. Well, let me tell you something. Hillary Clinton accepted money from the private prison industry that she says she's going to reform. How does that happen? How does that happen? You're bought and paid for. How is she going to rein in Wall Street when she's receiving money from Goldman Sachs and other Wall Street investment firms? How is she going to do anything about any kind of gun regulation when she's hosting an event that's sponsored by the NRA? That's happening today, this week. Listen, we are in dire times in this country. There's one person, there's one candidate that I've seen in years, in all my time voting, that I've actually paid money into their campaign and spent time actually mobilizing for. And that's Bernie Sanders. Because he has a voice that you can believe in. He's honest, and everything he says is at face value. Now I know some people say, well, what about our free market economy? You know what? It's not a free market. When that trickle down that was supposed to happen, never happened. It's a monopolization of the money and the resources in this country. And nobody's doing a goddamn thing to stop it. 4 years from now, we're going to have 99.5% of America's wealth at the top, with all the rest of us suffering at the bottom, thinking, hey, when do I get a raise? When do all those profits that are being generated trickle down? They're not going to. Let me put it to you like this. A business has one interest only, and that is their bottom line. And if they can get around paying people what they're worth, just like Walmart has done, and use the system to subsidize their workers, they're going to do it. Why? Because the only interest they have is their bottom line. They have no reason to care about their workers. They have no reason to care about their consumers. They have no reason to care about anybody except for the bottom line, unless there are regulations put in place to stop them. Go ahead, deregulate them. Guess what's going to happen? You say you can vote with your dollar? Not if no matter where you go, the dollar is going to the same place. It's time to start thinking about our future. It's time to start thinking about the long term. It's time to start thinking about educating our youth and providing health care that will actually benefit everybody. And to the note that people say, well, what about my insurance? I like my insurance. I want to keep that. I want to go to my same doctor. You realize that single-payer healthcare is a public option. You are by no means relegated to use that. You are by no means relegated to use a government doctor. All this says is that there can be one available for you so that people aren't dying in the streets. I support Bernie Sanders 110%. And I invite you to do the same. I invite you to go visit his website. Read about this man. I've been watching him since the first time he appeared on Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher years ago. I've told people about what I thought about democratic socialism. Here in the state of Arizona, you get quite a bit of bashing for that. They really think you're a communist. And I guess FDR was a communist. A communist that spent 4 terms in office because of the significant difference he made for our workers and the people of this country. So what I want you to do right now, I want you to take a moment, Go to your web browser. Go to BernieSanders.com. Find out. Read what he's about. Read what his policies are. Get to know this man. A year ago, nobody had any idea who he was. He wasn't getting any donations. Look at him now. You know why this is happening? You know why people are doing this? One simple reason. He's giving them something solid to believe in. He's not compromising, and he's not kowtowing to the establishment or to Wall Street. Do it now. BernieSanders.com. Become a part of this. Share in an amazing opportunity to get involved in the political system. And then don't stop there. No matter if he wins or loses, elect candidates that I'll now forever call Berniecrats. Your future's at stake, and it's not just yours, it's your kids. Thanks for listening, people.